This is Black Light. See, I was coming up in the era where you could walk over to Motown. They had a bunch of studios outside of Motown, but Motown was the most popular one. And they had a Golden World. Now, I lived on the same street. Golden World was maybe about 6 blocks, going south of where I lived. That's where Edwin Starr came out of, Don Davis. A lot of y'all don't know Don Davis. We ain't talking about the white Don Davis. We talking about the Don Davis here in Detroit, where the Dramatics come out of. Uh, Aretha Franklin cut over there. I was over there. I had a contract with Don Davis United Sound System Studio, you know, and I'm gonna tell you about that. But anyway, the music game was set up like this, man. Uh, After a while I was trying to get on the major labels, it was hard getting on the major labels after a while. At first it was easy, but then it started getting complicated. So guys start setting up independent labels within the major labels. So you have your independent label and you'll make demos to show to the major labels. But you got to have your act road ready, you know. And then came videos, you had to do that. You show your act on these videos with your music. And the kind of contract they were sending out, was a little trickery in it. And in the case of my case, all the entertainment lawyers had a were on the payroll of Don Davis and other small label or independent labels. Don Davis had a label called Groovesville and another one, I forgot the name of it, but anyway, uh, a lot of guys, uh, take their contract to a lawyer, entertainment lawyer, and the entertainment lawyer on the payroll of the guy that they, you know, doing it for. They in the pockets of the independent record label. You see, so they tell you to sign some old messed up contract, you know, because the wording in it is tricky. So when you go to a recording studio, back in those days, they give you some front money. Well, the recording session eat all that up. They take it out your royalties because you got to pay for that. So you your own boss, or you your own businessman, and you like paying yourself up front before you even receive the money, and then you pay for studio time. And they got nothing to do with the road, going on the road, all that studio time. And what they do is they find a way to eat up your studio time, because a lot of us are so good that we could go in the studio and lay down the track, boom, boom, boom. See, I had my own band, and I know how to dub myself in tracks. I could do bass, baritone, whatever, and plus I could play the drums and the keyboards. And you could put the bass line in on the keyboards, and they got synthesizers that sound like strings and horns and stuff. And if you record it, if you know how to do your engineering thing, do it sound real. And you can even put drum tracks on there from the drum machine, sound real. So you can run through a thing. It don't take no long time to really, especially if you got a band, you go down there and your band is tight, you know. But they didn't want me to come in like that. But anyway, I ain't gonna talk about me right now. I'm just gonna tell y'all what's happening with these, with YouTube and everything else. Anytime you got anytime you go to a place where they can mass produce your music or your video or distribute it all over the world, you know, you using their service, but it's on you. And what they gonna do is, you ain't got the money now, but if your record take off, then it's coming out your royalties. So you ain't gonna hardly get nothing back, because you ain't got distribution. You can have a little bit of publishing, or you can have half of publishing, but if it ain't nothing happening with that, you know, you ain't gonna get nothing back from that. See, so you gotta fall in line with the one that's bankrolling you, and a lot of times they make you jump through hoops. Now, if you got sissies, you know, faggots that's bankrolling you, and they something wrong with them, you know, and they choosing you, they gonna want you to do some freaky things, and then sometimes they might get you strung out on dope. You know, have you strung out on dope. Sometimes they might make the women hoe for them, you know, turn tricks for them and everything. And if she freaky like that and she got stars in her eyes, she gonna do it. And then as the game started growing, the music industry started growing, that's what they started doing. They started turning these cats out. They approached me, but I was down with the Nation of Islam. They cut me loose quick. And they said, well, go and let the Nation of Islam do it for you then. You know. But I did it myself. You know, I pressed up my own stuff, you know, and promoted myself. But it was time consuming for me to have a regular job and a hustle and promoting that music, you know. Had to cut one of them loose. So I was getting older and older, and my family was getting bigger and bigger. So I didn't have time to continue doing it like that. And that's the same way with these cats that's hustling off of YouTube. If you build up someone else's thing, you's a fool. You can do that yourself, you know. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't got to be no hoe for nobody or no sucker. Because first thing they're going to do when you see a sucker is bump their head. So instead of putting money into their thing, put money into your thing. You know, like pimps back in the old days, they wouldn't turn their woman out using drugs. They wouldn't allow their woman using drugs because they didn't want the dope man to be the dope man to get it. They say every time you buying, they tell they hoes, they say, look, every time you buying this dope, he your man, the dope is your man, and he's selling it. You putting refrigerators in his house, you know. So either they'll cut the hoe loose, you know, or straighten them out so they, you know, because she's a liability now, you know. But guys nowadays, that's how they turn out their women, on drugs, you know. And whose fault is it? It's the woman's fault, you know. But some women are addicted to a certain way of thinking. They can't help they can help themselves, but they don't want to help themselves. So they all day suckers. Black light.